Good evening, everybody. It's Jason from D22 Zone, heading up the Super Monday Night podcast. I'm your host for this evening, or depending on which time you watch and listen to this podcast. We are a man down tonight. David, nicknamed Kirby, he's unfortunately cannot make it tonight. So it's only us four, myself. We have Ben.
Hello.
Max.
Hello.
And I've actually changed last member, Ollie, who's actually on good internet. Say hello.
Hello.
Yes.
But an only moderately horrible microphone.
It's amazing. No, that's my...
It actually sounds like that.
Yeah.
He sounds like he's always got a fan in the background.
You don't see me in real life.
Okay, right, so we've got a few bits and pieces to talk about tonight. We've obviously got Guild Wars 2, and they're mentioning that it's going to be released this year. Hooray, thank God. We're also going to talk about Distant Worlds. Ollie has played it. He's going to give us his own impressions and feedback on the game. And then we've got Reckoning Kingdoms of Amalur, which they've released a demo. It's made by Big Huge Games, and most likely, it's made by 38 Studios and published by Big Huge Games. Or have I got that the wrong way around? I think it's published by 38 Studios.
I'm sure someone will correct us in the comments.
Yeah, they probably will.
I love those guys.
And obviously we've got the demo out, and Max and Ollie have been trying that out and going to give their impressions on it. So,
we sure
I think
will.
the best thing to do is to get this party started.
I'm already there, man.
This came on at club I was only there.
And you said didn't want to waste time.
Yes, that successfully went well. Okay, so topic of interest today. Let's go straight into it. Guild Wars 2. It was mentioned today that it's being released this year. We don't have an exact time, so we could probably say it's going to be the 31st December, 23:59.
Yeah.
That's what I've got my money on.
I hope it's released in the summer holidays, because well, summer seems to be the time where you have a lot more sort of free time, if you could say. Because,
well, less games come out in summer. I think
Yeah.
so
Sure.
it's a good
Yeah,
time for
that's
MMOs
true.
to come out.
It's true, it would be a great time for it to come out, and that's precisely why it won't come out there. It will instead come out in the November massively packed release schedule just before Christmas, because all games publishers are idiots, and they hate to see their games sell well, and would love to see them up against masses of competition and the latest Call of Duty.
Don't care. That's the only time I'm going to play for a year.
yeah, I think I do agree with that though. Like, when was Guild Wars released? Was that released in the summer, or can someone do a quick Google check on that?
Wikipedia says April 2005.
April 2005. You see,
Has
are
it
they
been
gonna,
that long? Oh, jeez.
are they going to follow a similar sort of trend and release it spring/summertime? Hopefully, they're going to release it in springtime, because that's when everyone finishes university. You know, A-level exams probably. I don't know when A-level exams are. I'm just guessing. But that sort of time seems to be.
Well, they were
Perfect
saying
for me.
it goes into a sort of a selected press beta around April time this year, Guild Wars 2 this is.
With Select Press, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, we'll be in there.
Hopefully.
I'll give you all the details when I get them.
You know, we did it. We did go Gamescom, even if we didn't book an appointment. We still saw them, and
We
tried
did
to
walk
book
up to them and say, "Do you have any appointments?" And they very politely said no.
Go away, and I'll call security. Just like that. So yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, we've already talked about what character and class and race and all that sort of jazz we're going to go. I believe the Guardian is a potential popular choice among us all.
Not for me, mate.
What
Are you
you
kidding?
gonna
That
go?
sounds thankless.
I'm gonna go a Norn Thief, mate.
Yeah, me and
Norn
Ollie
Thief.
went on the
Norn
Guild Wars 2
Thief,
website
yeah.
this morning, and we were watching all of the skill videos, trying to rule out what classes we would and wouldn't play. But
Because we don't want 8 Guardians.
no one needs that.
I like how you say we. That's almost bringing a co-op element into it, which is good. It's good for ArenaNet's perspective, definitely. And it's good for our perspective, man. Co-op is just the best thing in Guild Wars. Any Guild Wars game.
I did enjoy playing solo. Like, it was one thing that I did quite a lot of in Guild Wars 1, was I quite enjoyed the shift, which obviously they've now undone, to the kind of social, the kind of solo play, so you could go into a zone by yourself if you wanted to, with your party full of heroes and stuff like that, and it was kind of your zone, like your version of a specific zone. Obviously now, a lot of people didn't enjoy that because for them it wasn't a real MMO, and now obviously we're shifting back to a more traditional open world. I've still got reservations about that.
I'm not too fussed, really. I don't think I've ever sort of complained about, okay, this guy is obviously, let's say you've got a quest and a guy near to you has already killed it and you've got to wait 5 minutes. You know, that is annoying, but I believe that they've put in sort of measures in place to stop this from happening, and you almost like have a dynamic world where even if someone has killed it near to you, you can still see the mob and you can still kill it almost. Which is,
it does seem like an odd challenge, actually. So, I mean, to go for this switch from the old kind of the instance model to this wide open, everybody's running around the same landscape, killing the same mobs kind of thing. And it does make things a lot messier and a lot harder to keep tabs on, I guess. So yeah, I don't know how they're going to handle respawns. I don't know if we've actually seen them talk about that anywhere. But it would be really interesting to see if they could just vary the quest targets a bit. So one group is sent off to kill this Char shaman on top of that mountain, but for the same quest, another group might be sent off to kill him down in a cave somewhere.
I'm interested to see the large dynamic events that happen in the world and how they can
they've shown it off a little,
change the
dynamic events.
face of the world and stuff like that. That's the thing I'm looking most forward to, and if they can pull it off, and if they can't, it'll be pretty good.
Well,
they've made a lot of big promises, which I hope they don't just fall into Guild Wars 2 being another MMO.
Well, this is the thing. You know, that Gamescom presentation that we saw of them, there's like 50 odd or 100 odd people attacking this same boss. You almost don't feel that you have any significance, and it becomes more like a raid WoW party sort of thing. Does that make sense?
Well, it's the problem with the
slightly
shift up
more
to this
haphazard
anyway.
than that, though. Like, no one had a specific role, and it was a world event.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see like the smaller kind of instances, which they haven't demonstrated too much of just yet.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's where Guild Wars shone, was when you've got your party of 8, or if you were doing smaller things, you know, dropping down to a party of 5 or something like that, and then everyone had like a really specific function within that party. Well, I think that's the thing that worries me the most, is they've talked a lot about how there's no longer tanking, there's no longer healing, and there's no longer support. So my worry, obviously, this is obviously something they've thought about, but my worry is that parties now will become messy, with everyone can do everything. But we'll have to see, I guess, as they reveal more bits and pieces.
I'm really going Elementalist because, well, we're coming on more to party mechanics here, and you know, Elementalist for me has shone out of pretty much all of them because, firstly, the monk has been taken away, which is my first ever character on Guild Wars, and probably will be my last. And also, the effects on the elementalists, some of the skills are epic. Like, you just feel so boss when you do. Well, you know, on the Guild Wars 2 website, they've shown the videos of the skills. Go take a look at the Ellie ones again, and they're just like, whoa, so boss.
What we should do, I think, we'll probably over the next week or so with this Guild Wars news, have a post from each of us, demonstrating a couple of those skills if we can copy the embed codes and stuff like that, and maybe have a little discussion about Guild Wars 2 and how we're kind of going to progress. Because obviously I spoke to you earlier, and the beta, obviously, for Select Press and then for General Public, and we probably fall under General Public. But
yeah.
I wouldn't like to play the beta in a way.
Well, that's the thing, I want to play, because I'm getting older, and because my interest for sinking myself into a game is becoming harder, I want to make sure I have the best possible chance of literally going into this story the best way I can. And being invited to a beta at the start will just feed me bits and bobs. And it's pretty much like what Skyrim's done. You absolutely slaughter it for the first 1 or 2 weeks, and then you just forget about it. You just can't be bothered to play it. I've just got the feeling and the worry about that's going to be happening to me if the team invites me to play Guild Wars 2, which they probably won't anyway. But I'm just coming from a perspective of I wouldn't want to play Guild Wars 2 because of the beta. I want to experience when it's complete, it's full, I'm in a dark room, I'm on Eyefinity, cup of tea. That's the way I want to experience it. And I guess it's the same for you guys, or would you rather be fed bits and bobs of the beta and carry on from there?
You better hope people aren't listening to this and think, oh, okay, well, they don't really want a beta key anyway.
Sure, I'd want to play the beta. There's the devil and the angel in my mind. The devil's saying, yeah, play. But the angel's like, no, you must play it when it's all complete and happy, and you listen to some beautiful classical music in the background. I don't think
I've ever heard you talk such nonsense.
Really? I always listen to some sort of orchestral music when I play a peaceful game. I always do it. Always. But anyway, what would you guys prefer? Would you prefer to be invited to the beta and play it, and then go back to the original game when the full game when it gets released, or what?
I don't know. It's been so long coming now, 7 years or whatever. I kind of feel like a couple of extra months isn't gonna wreck it for me. Just to wait until the full product comes out, and the servers are populated and everyone's kind of there, and also so. I can gather together all my friends into a giant band and go and do some PvE stuff with them, because that's where the fun of it is, isn't it? Is, as you said, in the kind of the co-op stuff.
Yeah. Well, even Alliance battles and Guild Wars, they are good fun. They were pretty hilarious. But again, it's the idea of playing with friends. That's where Guild Wars gets its spice from. But yeah. Does Ollie and Max, you want to add anything onto that?
Well, as we were saying, it's one of those where you can jump in if you like, but then your kind of reservation about things being spoiled for you and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's one of those, Guild Wars didn't really have that for me. The story wasn't great. The fun for me came from exploring areas and things like that.
The story wasn't great, but the world design was immense.
You see, I totally disagree. I loved the story. I was so into the story that's what made me complete it on pretty much every class and character.
I don't know, are we talking about Prophecies here, or some of the other stuff? Because Prophecies is the only story I played through to completion.
Sure, yeah. Nightfall is probably my most least liked story.
Prophecies was mental though. It just it starts off in this area where it's and everybody's here is fighting because there's been an apocalypse and it's all gone horribly wrong, and now we're going to go over some mountains and leave. That story's gone. Oh, but now there's some sort of undead people and stuff, and there's a guy who's probably evil but he's pretending to be good, and then we'll go around a forest for a bit, and then oh no, turns out he is evil, and then now we're in a desert, and then volcanoes. It just made no
Yeah,
sense.
it didn't make any sense.
True.
Like, I think
loved
there's interesting lore in the Guild Wars universe. So, like, with the little book that you got with the original edition of the game, it had a lot of interesting things about the ancient civilizations. What happened between kind of pre-searing Ascalon and then moving into the main game. But the way it was executed as an actual story wasn't great.
Yeah, there's clearly a lot of design work that had gone into it, and all the different factions, certainly. But yeah, the actual writing was, well, it was basic. I'll say that. I think.
Yeah. I think that's why.
Yeah, so that is my hope. But I think the problem now is because it's shifted to a large-scale MMO like open world, that the emphasis on story, at least traditionally in this kind of MMO, is a lot less. So obviously you've got something like Star Wars Old Republic, which is trying to place a bit more importance on that by being fully voiced, being cleverly written, things like that. But you couldn't tell me, or if you asked me to explain what the story was in World of Warcraft, I don't know, some rabbits, kill those, and then hey, let's do it.
Yes, now you can finally start to play the game.
Yeah, I think we're all trying to get the point out. Well, I'm trying to get the point out here is that I just want to be able to immerse myself into the story, and I'll be disappointed if I can't.
Well, the problem with that is, I think, when you're trying to immerse yourself in a story, then you see someone else run past you with a name like Boobies917, who's doing the exact same quest as you, with the NPC then saying, "Oh, you're the hero of the town, Boobies. Thank you so much."
I remember seeing some twat called Glovey Baby. I don't know. It did my nut.
The thing is, though, that's what makes it all Guild Wars like, though. Drawing willies on the mini-map. That's what it's all about.
And you can't really get immersed when...
How can you get immersed?
That's not really immersive.
Well, it's funny, but I think it adds to the immersion.
I think it adds to a certain atmosphere in the game, certainly. But I don't know if you could immerse yourself while watching someone, looking at the map, thinking, "Okay, guys, well, we've got a group of enemies ahead." Yeah, okay, someone's just highlighting them on the map.
Sure, it depends on what you define as immersive. Okay, we'll be in Underworld, right, and we'll outline one of the mobs that none of us could pronounce, the AXTs.
Oh yeah,
or whatever they're called. But instead of drawing a circle around them, you draw a penis to them. And that's the whole immersive part. You're looking at the minimap and you're immersed into that part of the zone, and you're still having the comedy factor of drawing a penis.
No, I'm going to call you as full of shit on this one. Actually, that's the biggest amount of wank I think I've ever heard.
I don't know. Underworld is good fun. Just good fun.
If you want immersed, like Eve, and then you can just be a
Eve?
businessman.
Spreadsheets?
Yeah. How can you not say that's immersive?
Not immersive. Well...
If what you think's immersive is penises, then you have no imagination, mate.
Or a very strange imagination.
It supports immersion.
It's got to be said that even, despite the drawing of penises on maps, it does sound like you had a much more kind of tactical play style than my group, which contained a friend of mine who, bless his cotton socks, played a ranger with barrage on the entire time, and his idea of fun was running around and just barraging literally everything in the area and then just running at me. I was like, oh, thanks.
That sounds familiar.
Well, I did it totally different.
You didn't take barrage.
I was in a barrage party at Tomb of the Primeval Kings, but I didn't have barrage, which was quite good fun, actually.
Before they introduced the thing where you had to ping your skills to show the rest of the group.
Yeah, and then you was a bit screwed.
Those
really.
quacks.
But anyway, Guild Wars 2 is going to be amazing. I want to play it the correct way. And it's all down to personal preference.
So you're going to go off ahead everyone.
I don't think so. You guys are going to go off ahead and go.
This sounds like
look
some
at
kind of
me.
private joke that is
I'm
less
level
interesting to
36,
anyone.
and then I'll be at like level 3. Oh right, yeah, sweet. I'm just getting my first weapon. Oh, been there, done that already. That's what it's going to be like. But anyway, moving on, exactly. Kingdoms. Actually, let's talk about Distant Worlds.
Really? Do you really want to talk about spreadsheets?
Yeah, I want to talk about some
Isn't this
spreadsheets.
less spreadsheets than spreadsheets online?
Yeah, it's
It would be hard to see how it could be more spreadsheets than EVE Online if without actually being Microsoft Excel.
Well,
Well, tell me about it. I don't know what Distance World is. Shoot me now.
Distant Worlds.
Don't know what it is.
it's a 4X game. You know what that is?
I don't.
You don't know what a 4X game is?
What's a 4X game?
The simplest way to put it would be Civilization.
Okay.
Yeah. The actual
Explore,
4X
expand.
nomenclature. Yeah, it's. Can you come up with 4 words beginning with X? Go.
No, they all begin with E.
Yeah, all right, fair point.
Explore, expand, exploit, and
Xylophone.
And xylophone, yeah. And you just run your spreadsheet empire, and you expand. But the thing about it, the thing that makes it kind of unique is it's in real time. And when you have your empire, but then you have like a private civilian sector that does its own thing, and they'll go out and they'll be in their little frigates flying around, making some money and cash and stuff, and you leave them to do it. And then you have this massive galaxy up to 1,400 star systems and 50,000 planets.
Okay.
It's massive.
Okay, so I'm going to mention a couple of touchstones here. On the one hand, you've got Sins of a Solar Empire, which sounds like it belongs in the same kind of genre in that it's kind of real time and kind of spread over this huge system. But it does look a lot prettier than this.
Bigger. It's not as pretty, but it's massive. It's huge.
Is it
And I guess
comparatively?
I don't know. It's probably.
Eve was pretty flipping big.
I think so.
And on the other side, I was going to say there's AI War, which was Arson Games, I think. If you ever played that, which looks like it has a reasonably similar kind of graphical style.
It's because it's so massive. If it was 3D, no one would be able to play it. So it's all sprites in 2D. But it has some nice art, and the ships are nice, and you could compare it to AI War with the graphics. But I think Distant Worlds has a better art style than some of the things in AI War.
It's one of those things.
honest.
Like I'm on the Distant World website now, and like I look at the features, and it sounds like the perfect game. You're talking about an epic scale. As you said, like 1,400 star systems, 50,000 planets. You build up your own empire. Real time. You can explore like a vast galaxy, colonize things, like do all of this.
Yeah.
But then I scroll up, look at the screenshots, and I think I don't like. We talk imagination for something like Guild Wars. This is the kind of game, like so lovingly dubbed the spreadsheet games. Like this, Europa, and things like that. And I don't have the imagination for them. Like I wish I did. I wish I could sit there and look at the screenshots and think,
one of the beauty of this game, or one of the parts of this game, is that you can automate it to your heart's desire. So if you just wanted to control one ship or a fleet, or even if you just wanted to watch a shitty little ship fly around and do nothing, you could do that. Or you
could play Spore.
Or you could, or shit though, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, but it's a shitty little ship around doing nothing simulator. Sorry, I just had to get that dig in there.
The only bit of Spore I enjoyed, as a side note, was the bit where you play like, I don't know, what you were, a seaman or something, cruising
seaman.
around eating things. That's
Yeah,
what
it was a
seamen do,
fun
right?
little arcade game, wasn't it?
That's what they do.
And then I emerged from the primordial soup and realised I was playing a crappy third-person animal simulator, and I just uninstalled it.
Well, was it even in a simulator?
It was just rubbish.
It was just rubbish, yeah.
Did you at least make a penis monster and upload it online
I
before
did.
you uninstalled it?
Mine, I went for some kind of, like quite a traditional monster. You know, he had his 4 legs. He looked a bit like a frog. But as I started to evolve, and then I had to make like a little civilization, I realised that my 4-legged frogmen couldn't really build houses,
Yeah.
let alone conquer cities, which they managed to do somehow.
They're flying, they're grasping the joystick with their sort of mouth or something.
Yeah.
Who says they need a joystick?
Exactly, they use mind
Telepathic,
power.
man.
You see,
Yeah,
I remember
exactly.
when Spore was on the press conference, and it just looked amazing.
That's
Oh.
because
Will Wright is a filthy liar.
no, he was in charge of it then, completely. But then EA got their grubby little fingers in, and they started giving power over more and more to this other douchebag who wanted it to be more casual and family orientated. And then Will Wright just got pushed his arse out the door, and then this ass face took over, and he was douche.
I hope you're
Much.
listening, ass-face douche.
Yeah, and you were right. I expect this is #1 on your podcast subscriptions.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Are you sure it was entirely Asfush's fault, given that, you know, Will Wright is the gentleman
Yeah.
behind The Sims?
He quit after Spore. He quit Maxis after Spore released because he was so ashamed.
Oh, wow. That is not a ringing endorsement, is it?
It isn't. In
What's
fairness
this?
to EA, though, like since that kind of time,
That is a wallpaper for
you've got
Distant
like
Worlds.
EA.
I was going to say,
partners now. Yeah.
this is clearly misrepresenting the actual game. Sorry, I should explain
No.
for the listeners that
This is great
The
radio.
link- we put
Glovy's
in the
posted
comments,
a link in chat to a wallpaper for Distant Worlds, which it shows a glorious sort of green-tinged galaxy filled with nebulas and exploding planets and flare effects and these 3D spaceships zooming away from a sort of space combat or something. And the game looks absolutely nothing like that at all.
It does in my mind.
Yeah, if only I had your mind.
This is one of the best games I've ever played. It's a massive space opera where people are dick waving non-stop and you just punch them in the willy. In the
That
Is
does
this
sound good.
multiplayer online, or are you
No,
punching
no,
AIs
it's
in the cock?
AI. The AI is pretty good, to be fair. I've had problems with them.
Who doesn't? Okay. Distant Worlds.
It's out and it's got 2 expansions, and I hope to review and play the expansion soon.
Definitely.
And I will do that. And it will
Who
be
makes
good.
Distant Worlds?
Code Force.
Games, isn't it?
No,
Was
no.
that
Say
just the
Code
website
Code
I've read?
Force. I know
Code
you're
Force.
listening to this. Send us a bloody review key.
I'm on their case. Don't worry.
He's on the
Yeah.
case.
I'm
Okay.
on the case.
It's on the case, excellent. But still, send us a review key. Yeah. Okay, so Kingdoms of Amalur. Amalur? Amalur?
Amalur.
Amalur?
Yeah, I think we got it.
Yes.
Amalur.
Is the game as difficult to play, in your case, Max, is it as it is to say?
No, I don't struggle to say it, but I didn't struggle to play it at all.
No,
It's
you did.
You
To
did.
begin with.
Don't lie, Maxi
well,
Downtown.
I loaded the game up, and in terms of actually getting the game to run, it was difficult because there's a problem with ATI cards at the moment, which you can easily get around by disabling post-processing effects in the game, and then it works.
Or buy an Nvidia card.
I'm not going to be doing that.
Whoa.
But no,
Okay.
so you go through the opening cutscene, and the premise of the game is that you have died, and you come back to life. Now, it's not an original one, so obviously you don't know who you are. There's an amnesia element. And you go through the kind of tutorial phase, and it becomes apparent that you are special. You know,
You're
not everybody comes back
fateless.
from the dead. Yeah, and you're fateless.
No way. You
Don't-
turn out to be the one person that can save the universe from the
Well, it's
impending doom.
lucky. It is lucky that happened.
That's it. That all happens in almost no other game. It's incredible.
It's not.
unique. I'll give
It's
it
not
that.
a unique experience. I think we have another friend who played who likened it to a single player MMO, and
Which is not entirely.
it's not
the
entirely
case.
true, but there are a lot of similarities to MMOs. Like the combat is the least MMO thing about it, though.
Yeah,
It's
the
quite
is
simple combat.
pretty
Like you can
good,
dodge
though.
and roll. It's similar in essence to the Batman style combat.
I was going to say The Witcher 2 as a comparison.
I'd
no.
say no. The combat's pretty visceral, and it's there.
It's there.
It's
It's an okay mechanic to
But and
move
it
you
looks
between
good.
story.
It looks really nice. And when you can swap between magic and melee quite easily, and it works. It's very fluid.
Like for people who have played Fable, it's probably the closest touchstone that I can think of. Like it has similar
Yeah.
combat to Fable, so you can kind of switch between ranged and melee and magic on the fly, much like you can in Fable at the touch of a button. And also, in terms of like the world layout itself, it's quite as big as the world is, and the world is enormous.
It's very corridor.
It's quite There's a lot of corridors. It's not kind of your Skyrim open landscape. There are small corridors linking like these much larger zones together.
So again, Fable. That kind of.
Yeah.
But it doesn't detract from the game at all. It looks very pretty, but you do kind of notice it when you're traveling from area to area, that you're in just a canyon, and it doesn't make much sense that you're just in this canyon. For whatever reason, they didn't build above it.
Is
Right.
it worth downloading the free gig demo?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like you get a 45-minute trial kind of time, so you finish the tutorial zone and you accept a quest, like your first primary quest where you have to start learning about yourself, and you've got 45 minutes then to kind of explore the world.
Well, and then it just cuts you off at 45 minutes.
It does.
Yep.
It does. Yeah.
yeah,
Much like the Just
Right.
Cause 2 demo.
yeah. Just Cause 2 demo was pretty good though. I did play a lot of that.
Okay, well, the game is set to release in 2 weeks and 3 days, 4 days maybe. So potentially expect a review from us. I don't know if anyone's gagging to do this.
We'll see.
one.
Nah,
So,
I
I'm not sure
don't think
you will
I'd
see a
buy it
review.
for full price, to be honest.
£30 is tricky.
It's
isn't it?
pretty steep for something that I'm not too interested in.
Well, I'm certainly sure there'll be some news about it on the website. So if you do want to keep following in this respect, visit the website d22zone.com. But from all of us here on the podcast, it's a farewell.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, fuck! Always forget to stop recording. Bloody Nora, tools.